Hi dear students, in the earlier video we have discussed about the classification of elements, that is metals and non-metals. Metals are the atoms of the elements which can easily loses the electrons and forms electropositive ions, which is known as cations. Non-metals are the atoms of elements which gains the electrons and forms electronegative ions, which are also known as anions. Now we will continue our discussion with the chemical bond and types of chemical bonds, which are useful basics for the chapter carbon and its compounds. We are discussing about the chapter carbon and its compounds. Today we will learn about a chemical bonding, that is mainly ionic and covalent bonds, right? Chemical bond is electrostatic attraction between two or more atoms in a molecule is known as chemical bond. Students, what is the formula of water? Water molecular formula is H2O. We know one molecule of water will contain two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom is present, right? So there is some kind of force of attraction between the hydrogen atom and oxygen atom, right? That we are calling it as a chemical bond. Force of attraction, electrostatic force of attraction between two or more atoms in a molecule is known as chemical bond. Chemical bonds are classified into two types. Chemical bonds, that is based on the relative strength. Chemical bonds are classified into mainly two types. They are primary bonds, other one is secondary bonds. Secondary bonds are relatively weak, primary bonds are relatively strong, secondary bonds are relatively weak. Primary bonds again classified into three types: metallic bond, covalent bond, and the third one is ionic bond. Metallic bond, covalent bond and ionic bond. Secondary bonds are two types. First one is van der Waals force of attraction. Second one is hydrogen bond. Right? Students, mainly we will learn about covalent bond and ionic bond. Students, in the primary bonds, metallic bond is generally formed between two metals. Metallic bond is a bond between metal and metal. It may be same kind or a different kind of metal atoms. Bond between metal and metal is metallic bond. Bond between two non-metals is covalent bond. Bond between two non-metals, non-metal and non-metal bond is covalent. Ionic bond is also known as electrovalent bond. Ionic bond is known as electrovalent bond. Here, this is a bond between metal and non-metal. bond between metal and non-metal, that is called as ionic bond or electrovalent bond. What is the reason why the elements will combine to form a compound is, that is first time explained by Kosel and Lewis. Kosel and Lewis explained, two scientists simultaneously, they have given their theories independently, which is known as Kosel-Lewis theory. But here we will learn mainly about the octet rule. Octet rule. According to this octet rule, the elements with 8 electrons in their outermost shell are chemically stable. They are not reactive. Chemically stable. Except helium, which has duplet. Duplet means 2 electrons in the outermost shell. And other elements will try to achieve 8 electrons in their outermost shell by gaining or by losing or by sharing the electrons with the other atoms. Students, in the periodic table, the elements which are present in the 18th group, like helium, 18th group, that is 18th column, last column, elements are helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon, argon. These elements except helium, they have 8 electrons in the outermost shell. So there it is observed that they are chemically inert. Whereas helium, which is having duplet, 2 electrons in the outermost shell. But these elements have 8 electrons in the outermost shell. Whereas the rest of the elements of periodic table, they will try to achieve 8 electrons by gaining or by losing or by sharing the electrons. Dear students, covalent bond is a bond between two non-metals. Bond between non-metal and non-metal is covalent bond. Covalent bond which forms due to mutual sharing of electrons. For example, we will take hydrogen molecule. Hydrogen molecule is H2. Hydrogen generally exists as a diatomic gas. 2 atoms of hydrogen will combine together to form as a one hydrogen molecule, right? So earlier we have discussed octet rule. So atoms of the group 18, the elements which are present in the last column of the periodic table, 18th group elements, they are chemically inert. So except the helium, other than the helium atom, all atoms has 8 electrons in the outermost shell. Whereas helium has 2 electrons in the outermost shell, but it is also chemically inert, right? So other than the 18th group elements, remaining rest of the elements will try to achieve 8 electrons by losing the electrons or by gaining the electrons or by sharing the electrons between the other atoms, right? So here hydrogen will try to achieve the nearest inert gas configuration. It will try to achieve 2 electrons in the outermost shell. So when hydrogen exists as atomic state, hydrogen atomic number is 1, electronic configuration is 1, right? So then hydrogen atom required duplet configuration, that is 2 electrons in the outermost shell. So then each hydrogen atom in the hydrogen molecule, how the hydrogen molecule is formed from the hydrogen atoms is 2 hydrogen atoms are there. So each hydrogen atom will donate the 1 electron, and this pair of electrons is equally shared between 2 atoms, right? So due to that, a bond forms between 2 hydrogen atoms, that is called as a covalent bond. So which can be represented with the line drawn between the 2 atoms. When 1 electron pair is shared between 2 atoms, that is called as a single bond. 1 electron pair is shared between 2 atoms, then that is called as a single bond. On the other hand, we will take one more example. Example, oxygen molecule. Oxygen is O2, right? So oxygen atomic number is 8. Electronic configuration is 2, 6. Electronic configuration of oxygen is 2, 6. So outermost shell it has 6 electrons. Then it will try to get the 2 more electrons. Then each oxygen atom will donate 2 electrons, and the total 2 pairs of electrons are equally shared between 2 oxygen atoms. When 2 pairs of electrons are shared between 2 atoms, there is a formation of double bond. This is called as double bond. Now let us discuss about the triple bond. Third example, we will take N2 gas. N2, nitrogen gas. Nitrogen atomic number is 7. Electronic configuration 2, 5. Outermost shell it has 5 electrons. To get 8 electrons, that is called as octet. 8 electrons in the outermost shell. This nitrogen atom requires 3 more electrons. Then each nitrogen will donate 3 electrons to the other nitrogen atom, and 3 pairs of electrons are equally shared between 2 nitrogen atoms. Then when 3 pair of electrons are shared between 2 atoms, that is forming triple bond. This is called as triple bond. Triple bond is formed between 2 nitrogen atoms, right? So one more example we will take HCl, hydrogen chloride. So hydrogen atomic number 1, electronic configuration is 1, chlorine atomic number is 17, electronic configuration is 2, 8, 7. Okay, 2 plus 8 is 10, 10 plus 7 is 17. Electronic configuration is 2, 8, 7, right? Then hydrogen requires 1 more electron, and a chlorine to complete the octet, 8 electrons in the outermost shell, which has a 7 electrons in the outermost shell, it requires 1 more electron. Then chlorine also will donate 1 electron, hydrogen will donate 1 electron. Then electron pair is equally shared between hydrogen and chlorine to form a single bond between hydrogen and chlorine. That is, there is a one covalent bond is present between hydrogen and chlorine in the hydrogen chloride, right? Now let us discuss about the ionic bond. Bond between metal and non-metal. Bond between metal and non-metal is ionic bond. It can be defined as electrostatic attraction, between two or more oppositely charged ions. Oppositely charged ions. Students, in the covalent bond, the electron pairs will lie in between two atoms, equally shared between two atoms in the covalent bond. But in the case of ionic bond, the complete transfer of electron takes place from the metal to the non-metal. In this bond formation, complete transfer of electron takes place from metal to non-metal. Let us take one example for the ionic bond. Let us take one example, NaCl. Sodium is metal, chlorine is non-metal. A bond between metal and non-metal is ionic bond. Sodium, atomic number 11, electronic configuration 2, 8, 1. Outermost shell it has 1 electron, right? So being a metal, it can easily loses 1 electron. So Na minus 1 electron, then it will convert into electropositive ion, which is called as a cation, right? Earlier, when sodium is neutral, there is no charge. It has 11 electrons and 11 protons. When 1 electron is removed from the sodium, then it has 10 electrons and 11 protons. Due to 1 excess proton, sodium will attain a positive charge after losing 1 electron. Then in the case of chlorine, electronic configuration is 2, 8, 7. Being a non-metal, it will accept the electron. Right? Cl, 17 electrons are there, 17 protons are there when it is neutral. So when it gains a 1 electron, it will get a 1 unit negative charge, Cl minus. Now it has 18 electrons and 17 protons. Due to 1 excess electron, it will attain 1 unit negative charge. After that, there is a strong electrostatic attraction is there in between oppositely charged ions. Here, the complete transfer of electron takes place from the sodium to the chlorine, right? So, similarly, one more example we will take, that is MgCl2. Magnesium atomic number is 12, electronic configuration 2, 8, 2, right? So to get a octet, being a metal, it will loses 2 electrons and forms Mg2 plus cation, right? Then chlorine, atomic number 17, electronic configuration 2, 8, 7, chlorine will gain 1 electron and it will convert into Cl minus. There is how many Cl minus ions are there? 2 Cl minus ions are there. So strong electrostatic attraction is present in between Mg2 plus and 2 Cl minus ions and 2 Cl minus ions in the MgCl2. So this is about the types of bond, students. Next class we are going enter into the real topic, that is the type of bonding in the carbon from the chapter Carbon and its compounds. Thanks for watching.